Hey, 450C getting set to roll. They've gone through their sight lap as we have a couple more classes to go. I want to thank everybody for joining us here from RacerTV.com from Loretta Lynn's and day number 1 of racing. We got Adam Johnson on the 73, Hunter McCall, 89, Lance Hadaway, and we are off. We've got just a handful more names we'll run through for you in just a moment. Right now, let's pick up on what's going on with the Bell Helmet hole shot. Wow, that one has to be hard to determine, that one. There were 3 riders wide heading across that hole shot stripe, but it's going to be Adam Johnson, the 73, out of Tallahassee, Florida. Johnson here with us, courtesy of Victory Wake, and of course,
our leader, Adam Johnson, just been passed, and then leader just went down. That was number 75, but he's back up again really quick, still holding down the number 3 spot. So we had a little bit of action in the lead there, but
well, Johnson regains that lead back, so that's good news for him. Other riders out there, the 90 of Mason Benson, 92 Bailey Breen, Zach Rossi is the 93, 96 Dakota McKay, Brian Saunier, the 97. We also have the 98 of Devin Bates and 99 of Matthew Mazzaros, and that is your field of 42 riders here in the 450C class. I believe we have maybe one more. Let's see where we at.
Our second to last moto. We got one more. I believe we got the 60s coming up next.
Yeah, 65cc 7 to 9 limited. One more moto to go on this one as Adam Johnson leads him through the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com sweeper there, and that is that the 75 all the way back up to second again already.
He dropped one couple spots there, gone back to the 3rd place position, and now he's back. He is back in front of the 72.
That is Hunter McCall out of Springdale, Arkansas. He's brought to you by his mom, his dad, his brother Lane, and girlfriend. So he's a family affair coming into this one. So we like to see in these novice class ranks these self-made type folks, man, these family-made type folks. And this is where a lot of dreams begin for some of these riders, as many riders that are in the professional ranks today and some of the top names that we know and love maybe didn't even start at Loretta's until their novice class, like somebody I'm talking to right now, myself.
Yeah, I did. My first year at the ranch was in 2002, riding the C class. Kind of got into it pretty late on a serious level. My family did, but definitely made it count when we did. So definitely never too young,
Jimmy,
or never too old to start.
And you won,
up.
Right?
Yeah, I won. Yeah, my first year at Loretta's. So I actually got 4th at my regional. And then my family really, my mom, my dad, my brother, they all took me riding during the week, and I actually ended up swapping over to my brother's 250F. That was when they first came out, and they came out to Loretta's and actually won the C class. So it was nothing beat that year. That was a pretty wild year. But it looks like out front we have a rider down.
Whoa.
I think that's Matt Hanna. It sure is Matt Hanna, training at that game training facility in Norman, Oklahoma. Going down, a bummer for him coming into the 10 Commandments. We saw Ty Masterpool and as well as Jolik Swoll go down to that same spot, so it must be a little slick spot coming in the 10 Commandments.
Well, I'll tell you what, Adam Johnson has certainly got a couple of big breaks in this one. He's going out and doing what he needs to do. He got off to a good start, got out front, he got challenged, he held his own, and McCall went down. And Matt Hanna was also another rider that was working up through the pack. He looked like he was in position to try and start the challenge as well. He goes down. There's the way the field stands right now after that first lap of racing. It's Johnson. Hunter McCall is back to second. He's 1.7 seconds back. Chris Gregg, the number 72, 1.5 seconds back. Matt Hanna dropping a little further than that and several positions back, but was in 4th. So that'll move Matthew Kretzler up to 4th. Lance Hadaway into the number 5 spot. Mason Benson is 6th. Mason Meyer in 7th. 8th, Wesley Allen. 9th is Brandon Moore. Rounding out the top 10 will be Damon McCoy. And then we go a little further back in that Parker Larson is 12th. Michael Rickman in 13th. Devin Bates in 14th. Angelo Molina 15th. Brandon Johnson is 16th. Leighton Smell in 17th. Ryder Petro 18th. Randy Ramirez 19th. And Tristan Alexander rounds out your top 20. Johnson around and in for 2 now, a 2:16.5 lap time as opposed to a 2:18 by McCall. But check out Matthew Kretzler. Kretzler on the move right now on board that number 53 machine, the third place ride with a 2:16.8, 2 full seconds faster than McCall. So we should see this gap start to close up quite a bit as we roll into the billboard section. And look at this, man. Things are really starting to tighten up front. You got the challenge going on for the lead right now, and that right there was for the 4th place position. Chris Gregg just got taken down by Devin Bates right there, if you're watching that, as they head through the Bell Helmets Forest, the Bell Moto Forest over there. So we're seeing some position change. A lot of riders, they're jockeying hard here through these first couple of laps.
You know, I'm watching the rider back in 11th place right now. I know that sounds crazy in the C class, but Wesley Allen, he is hauling around the track. I watched him go down, get back up, and he is charging through, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Wesley Allen stays off the ground if we couldn't see him towards into the top 3 by the end of this moto.
Well, tough break for Devin Bates. Bates down there, as we saw. He just popped off a 2:16, and he was, again, around Gregg there, working on things there, the 72 machine. Lance Hadaway, the 89, he's going to be a benefactor to a position change, it looks like, along with Mason Benson. And also, Wesley Allen, we should be seeing him possibly move up a little bit. He did go down. He was 9th place at the end of the first lap. He had worked himself back up into 11th after his little miscue out there. And I think Jimmy is absolutely right. And watching that number 50 as we'll continue here in this 450C first moto. Up front here, the 75 Hunter McCall now feeling the heat from Matthew Kretzler, as we had expected. A 1.2 second gap between those two riders is what we were looking at the end of 2, Jimmy. And as they rake their way into the big Thor sweeper turn here, this battle is only beginning to heat up right now.
Yeah, it is. Out front for the 2 and 3 spot, number 75 and number 53, that's Hunter McCall, Matthew Kretzler. But we'll see where...
Well, Kretzler consistently the last couple of laps has turned a faster lap time, that time by about only 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second. The gap is only 0.7 of a second that separate them as they roll down in front of the billboard down this heated battle for the number 2 spot.
Wesley Allen, the fastest lap time on the track right now, number 50 on that Yamaha. He is charging to the pack. He's passed 5 guys that last lap and ran the fastest lap time of the race.
Matthew Kretzler has gotten around Hunter McCall for the number 2 position. It'll be interesting to see what happens here as we look at those fastest lap times. That's 2:16.003. Actually, Devin Bates turned that one in just a few moments ago, right after that. So we're getting some riders down in those 2:16 frames right there.
All the way back in 11th.
11th, but remember, Bates was up front. He was one of the riders that was in position, it looked like, to battle for one of the top spots, if not the win in this moto. He went down. He went way back, and he's already all the way back up to an 11th place position. So things are actually looking pretty good for him when you look at the big picture out here.
Climbing his way back through, and then top 5 on that number 90 Yamaha, that's Mason Benson, kid who trains a lot at the Robbie Rayner training facility up in Oklahoma. I've spun a few laps with him, having a great showing out here at Loretta Lynn's in Moto number 1 of 450C, running 5th. See if he can't move any further forward through the field by the end of this one.
Well, Kretzler on the roll right now, 75, and McCall is not letting him far out of sight, and it doesn't appear that that 5-second gap is really being gapped so much. Not a lot of real estate being made up by the now second-place rider on the 73 machine of Adam Johnson. Johnson now in the Thor Beach Sweepers. He makes his way through, and here comes second, third. They're not real far behind, but right now Johnson still does enjoy a little bit of a comfort zone as they head into the final turn now and roll past this finish line for lap number 4 complete now.
Right now, a battle heating up for the number 4 spot. 3-way battle on top of that between Chris Gregg, Mason Benson, and Wesley Allen.
Benson has moved up into the number 4 spot. Gregg is now 5th. Wesley Allen still holding steadily in 6th. And don't count out Angelo Molino. He may have just gotten past, but may find a little extra room for that throttle hand there and wick it up, try to keep the pace with these guys.
So Wesley Allen, that last lap around, dropping down to the 2:14.9.
Wow, that's the fastest lap.
Is the fastest lap time of the race.
Look at Mason Benson. He even had a 2:15. It was a 2:15.9, but we're starting to see these lap times. This is kind of intriguing to me. The track, as we know, has gotten more challenging, and every lap it changes, but these guys are getting faster. They must be adapting well.
Yeah, it looks like Wesley just making the move on Benson before the 10 Commandments, but these two riders right now are too fast on the track, and I know Mason Benson, he is in shape. He works hard up there at RTC, so we'll see if he can make a charge and keep Wesley Allen within check as they move to the front of the field, but I think that Allen and possibly Benson, too, are going to be making a charge. These guys are really tied up front right now in this 450C. It's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I think you're right. Adam Johnson may have a little bit of a comfort zone there with that 5-second gap, but Mason Benson, as he is only 4 seconds behind McCall. Those guys are rolling about 3 seconds faster a lap than McCall, and if McCall settles into that pace, we could see Benson, Gregg, and Allen, all three, right there knocking on the door for that third and final podium position here today.
I think you're going to see Wesley Allen throw down a lap time this lap around that is just completely going to blow everybody else's away, because he has actually made the pass into second place. Right now, Wesley Allen's listed in 6th, so he has passed 4 riders this last lap around. Actually still working on the number 2 spot. Makes the pass stick, it looks like, on the 75.
Wow.
Not quite, actually. 75 of Hunter McCall still battling back. So,
well, that ought to loft McCall's lap time up. It does, and it starts to close the gap now on Adam Johnson. That over 5, almost 6-second gap now is down to 3.5 seconds with a little time left to go. 2 laps. If they keep at this pace, they might end up battling for the win here. This is not over yet.
This is one of the best races that we've seen up here down to the wire, because we know that Wesley Allen, he has been on the throttle with a 2:12.2.
Wow.
Last lap around.
You were so right on making that call.
That is 3 seconds a lap quicker than any other lap time that's been ran in this class at any time. And especially this late in the moto, he is going much faster than any other racer. So definitely at these times, at that lap time, all it's going to take is about 1 lap to get onto the back of the leader, Adam Johnson, and challenge him for a win in Moto number 1.
Well, McCall is now in the number 3 spot as Allen has blown by finally, and he is beginning to stretch that one out here with now a little more than a lap of racing less to go. We are way less than 2 laps to go, as Mel, I believe maybe the white flag going to be coming out here in just a few moments as our leaders traverse their way toward the finish line region here now. Johnson, what kind of a gap is he going to be looking at whenever they roll here into this final lap of racing?
No goggles for the number 50 either. Wesley Allen, no goggles on, just charging through the field on that Yamaha number 50.
But holding on to the goggles, I respect that.
Yeah, no, you know, those are old habits. You can see guys, you can tell if they were hardcore growing up, sleeping in the back of tents and stuff, because even as professional racers, they can't help but put the goggles around their
Do not throw them
wrist.
away. We paid for those.
I watched a rider in the GPs ride the whole moto, goggles
No
around
way.
the wrist,
Pro.
won it, and then threw his goggles away. Now that is how you get it done. But Wesley right now trying to throw his goggles at the end of the race out to the crowd, take the victory.
Well,
he's got to be close. We've lost track.
Adam Johnson by now 4.5 seconds. Johnson just wicked it up himself to a 2:13.5. Somebody must have told him Allen was coming.
That just makes you wonder a little bit, right? His last lap was a 2:19. Maybe it was like, oh, I'm going to win, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker. You got to watch out for these C guys. I was once one of them, so there's definitely a game to be played.
So Johnson not showing the full hand there as he did not need to until basically rolling into these final 2 laps of racing. So Johnson definitely showing the hand this time around. Wesley Allen, he's trying to match that one. Hunter McCall still in 3rd. Matthew Kretzler is 4th. Angelo Molina is in the number 5 spot. Devin Bates in 6th. Mason Benson 7th. Leighton Smale in 8th. Matt Hanna is 9th. Smith Foster rounds out your top 10. 11 through 20 now. With a lap to go, Reese Dominguez is running 11th. Matthew Mazzaros in 12th. Parker Larson is 13th. Dominic Paneri is 14th. Tristan Alexander in 15th. Lance Hadaway in 16th. Damon McCoy in 17th. Nathan Barnes 18th. Hunter Mashburn 19th. And Dakota McKay rounds out your top 20. Chris Gregg, who was a solid part of the top 10 aboard the number 72 earlier in this race, is all the way back in the 21st place position. So final lap of racing now. Your fastest rider, Wesley Allen, with a 2:12.274 on at least 1 lap, but the fastest rider of the Moto, at least wire to wire consistently, is so far been this rider, the 73 of Adam Johnson, as he takes that Yamaha home to a first Moto win likely. All it takes just a few more turns as we roll into the heart of Loretta Lynn's here itself and through the Thor Beecher sweeper turn, as the fans will, of course, be ready to congratulate him as he rolls by here for a convincing and impressive Moto 1 win. Wesley Allen going to be looking at 2nd, but here is your leader making that final drive to the checker flag, and there it is. Moto 1 winner, Adam Johnson, dropping that last lap time to a 2:17.8, as that's all it took, my friends, to get it there. And Wesley Allen must have felt the heat, must have felt the pressure after all that hard push. He ends up finishing a 2:18 for his final lap, 5 seconds back. But wow, what an amazing ride. Where did we see him as far back to at one point, Jimmy? I know
11.
It was,
yeah.
But it had to be farther back than that,
further,
because
yeah, he was,
well, somewhere. Regardless, he put on an amazing push there. So hats off to him. He's going to be a championship contender if he can do that consistently over the course of the next couple of motos. Maybe with a little better gate choice going into Moto 2, it might not be nearly as difficult to get to the front of the pack. We get to see him and Johnson, McCall all get a go at it.
And our 3rd place finisher, bronze medal on a 75, Hunter McCall. We're going to get this right. All right, Hunter, take me through that moto, man.
Well, I needed a good start. I was dead last in my first moto, and I just wanted to get out front and avoid the roost and the tear-off, so I just put the old 2-stroke to the floor and just let it sing around that first turn. Bummed I didn't get the whole shot, but, you know, we still got up front. But actually, the 3rd turn, they put a barrier in front of the very inside rut because people were cutting the track, and I ran right into it, so I had to pop out of that. But anyway, yeah, good moto. I'm glad to be up on the podium.
Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad and my sister and my girlfriend, and most of all, my brother. He's in Germany right now fighting for our country. He's in the Air Force, so I'd like to give a shout out to him.
That is awesome. All right, good job, Hunter McCall. 3rd place in 450C, and that's going to wrap it for that class.